Hi, everyone. Welcome to Pampered Chef Live, our weekly live cooking demo. I'm Michael, your moderator tonight. And where are you joining from? Post in the chat. Let us know where you're coming from. And if you're here because your consultant invited you, we're especially glad you're here. Share an emoji letting us know how you're feeling, however you're feeling tonight. We're really glad you're here. Hey, during the next 30 to 45 minutes, we'll be joining Laura from her home kitchen as she teaches us how to make a hearty soup that you can mix with leftover turkey. So it's sort of multiple meals in once. And after the cooking demo, we'll be selecting 3 attendees for giveaways. If you're watching on Facebook, be sure to register for the event right away through Zoom so you can be eligible for tonight's drawing as well. We'll also have a personal Q&A time with Laura about the recipe, the products she used, as well as some frequently asked questions about her experience as a consultant after the demo. It's going to be really good, so stick around for that. And some final housekeeping notes before we get started. First of all, there is a recipe handout for tonight, and it was included in the emails you got before the event, and you'll get it again in another email about an hour after the event in case you missed the first one. It's a little hard to see sometimes, but it's in there. Just look for the words recipe handout in that email that you got from Zoom. Second of all, please take the survey that pops up in Zoom when you sign off. We want your feedback. We look at your feedback. We consider it. We take it to heart. It's valuable to us. So please give us your feedback from that survey. And to entice you to do that, there's one more giveaway from the survey as well, where we'll pull somebody's name who fills out the survey every week for an additional giveaway. And if you have questions you'd like us or Laura to answer, drop it in the Q&A feature on Zoom, which is a little different than the chat feed. Our staff are responding to questions live during the event. We'll answer as many questions as we can, as well as save some questions for Laura to answer afterwards, okay? So lastly, the Zoom chat can be a lot of fun, or sometimes it can get a little overwhelming depending on your preferences. If you don't want to see the chat, you can mute notifications by clicking into the chat, click on the little arrow at the top, and click to stop showing the chat preview. That's all for me for now. I'm going to get out of the way. It's time to grab a beverage and relax, and I'm going to hand it over. So take it away, Laura. Let's get cooking.
All right, thank you so much, Michael. My name is Laura, and I have been a Pampered Chef consultant for 4 years. I actually joined the weekend that COVID hit. My sister joined ahead of me, and she was earning all these goodies and a great paycheck, and I was like, I need in. So I joined the weekend of COVID in 2020. I'm sure everybody remembers that fun time, and hit the ground running, and I haven't looked back. And I hope that if you are a customer here watching, that you give it a chance, because it has changed my life. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Again, my name is Laura. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I'm married to my sweet husband, Bob. We have 2 kiddos. One is about to be 20, one is about to be 18, one's in college, one's in high school. So those of you that have kids, you know like what that life is like. Super busy, super busy. I'm also a full-time teacher. I teach orchestra, and this is my 27th year of doing that. And Pampered Chef fits in my life. So I hope that you take a few minutes to see if this would be a good fit for you, or learn a new recipe in the process. So we are going to make a hearty veggie tortellini soup. And we're going to do this because, I don't know about you, we host Thanksgiving, and I love hosting Thanksgiving. We've got it down to a science. We've got a huge house full of people, like 30 to 50 people. After everybody leaves the next day, we want something different than Thanksgiving, but we have all this food. So we're trying to figure out what to do with it so we can repurpose it. So that's where the veggie tortellini soup comes in, because we're going to use what we used for Thanksgiving, but repurpose it so we're not eating the same thing again. Okay, so we are going to start with the rapid press mandolin and some veggies. So I'm going to take my carrots and use my peeler and not hurt myself with that. Take that off of there. And then as you're doing carrots with our peelers, you can actually go back and forth with that. Let me get my bowl. Hang on one second. All right, so I can show you, but you can actually go back and forth with that, and it is so fast and kind of satisfying. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. Got all this like hair type stuff there. Flip it over. So I'm just prepping it so that I can use it in my mandolin and chop it really fast. Okay, do my other one. think we're good. All right, put that aside and then chop the ends off. Okay, with our coated knives are on sale. Totally check those out. Talk about an awesome gift. Who does not need new knives? These are amazing. I keep them in the drawer literally right here because they come with a sheath on them and you can just toss them in the drawer and I don't have to go very far. This is where I cook. So it's right there all ready for me. So I'm gonna stuff these into my mandolin. I'm gonna start it. Kind of fun too. Those are really big carrots. There we go, now we're cooking. A little guide in there. Jumping around on me. Okay, those are like literally fresh carrots and they went through a little bit of extra effort, but they came through nicely. And then we're going to do 2 stalks of celery. Do those in the mandolin too. You could also half them and put them all in together if you wanted to. Don't get my fingers too close. That's how accidents happen. Okay. Nice thing about this is everything is the same size when you're done. Okay, so it's really great for soups. Everything cooks at the same rate. Don't tell, I throw those away. I don't like the top. I think it tastes different. And I'm gonna use my scoop loop and I'm going to get all the yucky seeds out of there. And all the white stuff. Okay, put that over here. Put a few of those in there. Get started, and then I'll pick up my fingers. Okay, then I've got all these beautiful veggies all ready to go. Move this out of the way. Okay, scoop up my mess real quick. Okay, then I'm going to do my onion. Scoot this over, do my onion. So I'm gonna cut it. And this is a trick that my dad taught me. We used to watch cooking shows all the time. So you do a little slit in the side of the onion, and then you can peel off the whole outside at once. Then I'm going to cut it into smaller sections so that it fits in my food chopper. And then I'm going to chop with the food chopper because then it doesn't make me cry. It keeps all those smells in it. I don't know what causes that, but there's no crying in cooking. All right, so the more you chop, the smaller it gets. I don't need them to be too small, but I don't want big chunks. Let's get that over. Missed a section, so backtracking at that. Okay, cool, get that out of the way. All right, then let's see, let me look at my notes here. We got the food chopper, okay, we used the coated knife and the rapid press mandolin, and now we need to sear everything. So I'm going to use the deluxe multi-cooker to do all of it. Then I only have one thing to clean in the end, and that, after a big Thanksgiving dinner, that is key for me, because I don't want any more things to clean. So I'm putting this on sear, okay, and then I'm gonna drop 2 tablespoons of butter in there. Wash my hands real quick. And then I'm gonna let that melt, and then I'm going to put my veggies in there and cook them for like 3 minutes or so. So, okay. All right. I don't know if I push start. I'll try that again. Okay, so we're gonna let that go for a second so that it heats up. Okay, So next up, put in the chat, I want to know, do you host Thanksgiving or do you go to Thanksgiving? And I also want to know, what is your favorite make and take? Like if you're going somewhere and it's the holidays, like what is your like go-to meal that you always take that maybe people know you for? And then we're gonna let this melt real quick while you're answering those in the chat, and then I'm going to throw my veggies in there. I just got to notice that there was a sticker on my pepper somewhere, but I don't know where it is. So, well, pampered, not perfect. All right, so if you saw that go in, good catch. All right, is it hanging out over here? No, okay. All right, I'm gonna dump my veggies in. You know, as much as we prep for these, you always miss something. Maybe I'll find it while I'm cooking. Okay, so we're gonna let these just cool down just a little bit, just soften a little bit. I'm gonna pop my onions in there. And I'm going to wash my hands, get this out of the way. Give that just a second while we get ready for the next steps. Okay, so next up, we are going to add flour once this cooks down just a little bit. We're going to add flour and then rotisserie seasoning. And if you haven't tried our rotisserie seasoning, we are like slightly obsessed with this. We use it on everything, especially on chicken, obviously, like on chicken, but we don't necessarily rotisserie cook. We just grill it with rotisserie seasoning, and it is so, so good. So totally try that out. If you have never tried the rotisserie seasoning, add it to your next cart. It's cheap, quick, and easy. Just like all of our seasonings are just really, really wonderful. So, okay, so we are going to, let's see, add a 1/4 cup of flour. So I'm gonna pour that in. And then I'm going to add a tablespoon of rotisserie, which smells amazing. But I don't know if you can see that big puff. I don't want to like do a big sniff there. That would be bad. Okay, and then I'm going to mix this up. That was definitely a big puff right there. Okay, so we're going to let that cook for a couple of minutes. And then I'm going to add 1/2 and 1/2 and 4 cups of broth. So I need a cup of 1/2 and 1/2. And I love these measuring cups because I don't have to do this like, let me bend over to figure out how much is in there, because the measurements are all on the inside. So easy. Okay, so I've got rotisserie, that's already in there. Let me move it out so I don't put it in twice. Ooh, that smells good. Okay, then I'm going to add my 1/2 and 1/2. Stir that up. Okay, and then I'm going to add my soup, all right, or my broth. And I like to use a low sodium, like vegetable broth. I like to add my own salt, just so I can keep an eye on what's in there. I'm kind of picky about my salts too. So I don't necessarily want salt coming from other things. And the rotisserie has a good amount of salt in it as well. It's got some good flavor to it, so you don't really even need to add salt to this. Salt to taste maybe after you're done. Okay, and then I'm gonna whisk this just a little bit. Put it over there. Move these guys. Usually when I cook at home, and I'm not on camera, I wash things along the way, because when I'm done, when I sit down to eat, I literally just want to sit down to eat. I don't want to sit down to eat and then have to get back up and clean things other than my dishes. Get all the chunks and lumps and things off the bottom, all the little flavor blasts, so that they're mixing in. Okay, and then let me set that aside. I'm going to cook this on soup. I'm gonna hit cancel and flip it to soup. And then I'm going to do 6 minutes. Just so that we can get through it. I would probably do, when we did it the other day, we did a little pre-trial. We did it about 8 to 10 minutes, and that was perfect. And then what we do when it's done is we put the extras in it. So we're gonna switch gears just for a minute, and I'm going to show you our cup zester, which is one of my favorite products because we want to top our soup off with Parmesan. So I'm gonna take a block of Parmesan, and I'm going to use my cup zester. And this thing is so cool. It also has a little safety if you want to use the safety, but I really just like did grate with my fingers. That's the way I grew up. I don't know if you guys had like the little graters, but I always used to help my mom grate things, and I just enjoy doing that. It's lots of fun. So the cool thing about this is you flip it to the side and you can see how much is in there, which is super cool. There are measuring things on the side, and then you can also store it like this. So we're gonna keep going for a few. I like lots of Parmesan, but you can go in circles or you can go up and down, whatever. Okay, and then what you do is you twist it, and it takes a little thing across the inside top, and then you have your grated Parmesan. Get the lid off, there we go. Which took me about 5 seconds to do, which is awesome. I'm gonna do a little bit more. I'm going to set that aside, and we will top our soup at the end with that. So I don't need the lid right here. Okay, and then we're going to talk focaccia, because soup and bread for me are like the ultimate like pairing. So I can't make bread on a 20-minute live. So we have a little bit of TV magic happening here. So this is bread that I proved. It's the focaccia bread. And comes like this, just in a little packet. All right, and you add a cup and a half of warm water, half a cup of olive oil, and then the focaccia mix, like super easy. So I came home right after school, threw it in the mixer, ran it for 6 minutes, and then put it in a container, in a stone, and let it proof for an hour. And then I took it into a new stone with olive oil and let it go for like 2-3 hours, and it's gotten nice and puffy. So our next step on this actually is to put the little dimples in. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I did this earlier. I went live on my main page, and then my hands were so greasy I couldn't push stop on the live. So I have to like holler for help. So I'm going to get my fingers all greasy, and then I'm going to put little dimples in my focaccia, and then we'll stick it in the oven. And the little dimples right there. And you can put really cool stuff on it. I've seen people put like olives and sprigs of beautiful things to make it look like flowers. I was just going basic because the rosemary is really, that's one of my favorite flavors, so I don't really need to change it up, but I do need to wash my hands. So I'll be right back again. Okay, so this goes into the oven for 18 to 20 minutes, and then you have to let it sit for another 5 and cool. I'm gonna put it back here just so it's out of the way. And then we have this amazing charcuterie set that is an amazing gift, and check this out, like so pretty. So what I would do, I did slices of the focaccia. That's where my TV magic came in, is I made this ahead of time. And then hubby cut it up for me and made it look all pretty. And then I have olive oil, and I like to put ground pepper in my olive oil. And then I've got balsamic vinegar, so really great to sit out if you've got people that are, you know, helping you cook or are munching before dinner starts for Thanksgiving. Also, if you've got people who love to entertain, this set is so beautiful, so beautiful. This part comes out, and you can put it in any of the places, and it's just like a really just beautiful piece. So I'm gonna move that to the side. So we're gonna serve our soup with that. And this has got probably a couple minutes left. I might push that a little faster. Move some things over here. Because next up what we're going to do is we're going to add our protein, our tortellini, and our kale to the soup. I think I'm gonna go ahead and push the plug. I'm gonna finish it. Okay, this is where things get fun. We're gonna let this out. This is good with soup because it kind of goes crazy. Oh, it didn't. The last time I did this, the steam went for like ever. So, all right, good. It's all ready to go. We're gonna add, the turkey is already cooked, so we don't need to add it ahead of time. So we're gonna go ahead and put that in at the end. And then we're going to add our tortellini. I got cheese tortellini. I did the family size because everybody around here wants lots of tortellini. Now, if you're doing low carb, you could easily do this soup and leave out the tortellini and leave out the flour, and you would be good to go with like a veggie and protein soup that doesn't have the carbs in it, if you're looking for that. So maybe after Thanksgiving, you would like a little less carbs. So I'm gonna mix that in. I flip it over to sear just to heat it up real quick. Just get that in there. The soup being as hot as it is, it'll cook really fast to get that in there. Okay, cool. So then I would be serving it with bread, and I'm going to put it in a nice pretty bowl, and then we will add a little bit of Parmesan on the top, and then we will be good to go. I'm gonna look at my, yep, okay, so I'm just checking my notes real quick. Put this over here. Okay, gosh, that looks good. This is the way I like to do salads too. I like a junk salad where it's got like tons and tons of things in it, and I like soup like that too. Like I don't want just like lettuce in my salad, and I don't want just like broth and chicken in my soup. I want like stuff in there. Look at how pretty that is, like so pretty. Okay, and then I'm gonna take a little bit of the Parmesan and put that on top. And we are good to go. So another thing that you can do is if you're going to visit a friend, the 5-quart on-the-go bowl is amazing. I don't know if you've seen these before, but they're wonderful. They heat up in them. If you're putting hot things in, they'll stay hot. If you're putting cold things in, they'll stay cold. And then the lid snaps shut so that you know that it's all in there. And then it's got like a little air release here, and then a spoon holder. So if you are taking it somewhere, you can set the lid on the side and then have the spoon in the front, and everything stays all together. So it's a really, really inventive product. So I highly recommend for people who like to make and take things. These bowls are amazing. They're on sale too. So I think that I am all done. I've got my soup, I've got my focaccia, all is well with the world. And I think that's all that I've got. So thank you so much for joining me, and happy Thanksgiving, and back to you, Michael.
All right. Thank you, Laura. There's such a great versatility in your cooking. You're so good at using the different elements in really practical ways, and I definitely feel like this is really applicable for anyone who might be hosting a gathering very soon. So thank you so much for sharing it with us. We're going to come back to you in a little bit because there are a lot of questions. People are really curious about a lot of things that you showed tonight. So before we do that, we are going to do our giveaway. So real quick, we're going to jump into our giveaway. I'll make a couple quick announcements, and then we'll bring Laura back on. So let's find out who our giveaway winners are tonight. All right, so we are going to be giving away the rotisserie seasoning that Laura showed us. She mentioned she puts it on everything. This could be you too. So 3 people are going to get to take this home tonight. And our winners tonight are, let's see, Kim Legary. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. And Kathy Brunk and Donna Daves. You 3 are our winners. I will be in touch with you after this to get your rotisserie seasoning in the mail. Congratulations. And I hope you make some wonderful meals with this. So y'all saw a lot of good ideas tonight, lots of cool products, and we want to let you know there's a couple different ways you can get those products. And the best way to start is by talking to your consultant. about anything and they can tell you more. And we have launched some early Black Friday deals so you can save on gifts for everyone on your holiday list. This sale includes things like the electric twist and chop, which you've seen many times in our demos, the rapid prep mandolin, which Laura showed us tonight, and many more are on sale right now. Connect with your consultant for any questions about these awesome products for early Black Friday. Second, if you are looking to save even more, you can choose to host a party with your friends or family for an even bigger discount, like getting 60% off any two products with qualifying party sales. So talk to your consultant to get a party booked ASAP. This special with 60% off for two products is just for November. So you've got a little bit of time. Talk to your consultant ASAP to get this booked. Okay. All right. Now, many of our customers decide to become consultants, just like Laura, because they love Pampered Chef products. It starts out with they appreciated the products and they like want to get more, or they want to share more. And so if that's something that you've been thinking about, this is a good time for us to hand back to Laura when she's ready in just a minute. And we're going to hear a little bit more about her experience as a consultant. But before we do that, I've got some questions to ask Laura from the chat. I've got a lot of questions to ask Laura from the chat, actually. So we're gonna light it up. Sorry, Laura, you didn't get much of a break there. Cool. Let's see. So someone once says, by the way, you have a beautiful kitchen, they said. So, and I agree. What is your favorite fall beverage to have at Thanksgiving?
Oh, I am like on tea right now, like hot tea. And we've been buying it in canisters, and there's like a cherry Cosmo hot tea, and that is like my jam right now.
Mm,
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah. And there's an apple version, like an apple spice beverage, like for like tea. That's really, really wonderful too. Yeah.
fruity tea
Good
is
question.
amazing. Love it. What settings were you using on the mandolin? I know there's a
On the
bunch of
Amazon,
settings on there.
I use, okay, I was on 6, and then the one that's 3 up here. So is that like 3 and 6?
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
and we tried it on a couple of different ones. I wanted it a little bit thicker so you knew what you were eating. So
Hmm.
that it wasn't so small and all, yeah,
Yeah.
chopped up.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody was pretty impressed with your onion trick, with the little cut you made and you peeled it all off. They said, all caps, how, where, please. I haggle with those all the time. This was just last night. Can you say again your onion tip?
Yeah, so you cut off each end and then you slice just a little slice down the side and then you just peel the whole thing off.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I love that.
pretty sad.
Um,
Uh-huh.
yeah. That papery thing. Yeah. Get that out of there.
Yeah.
Okay, so this question says, what's your favorite Pampered Chef tool to use for your favorite recipe, such as the soup you're cooking tonight? Do you have one of the favorites? I was going to ask you this later, so we'll just ask you now.
Yeah, my favorite,
Excuse me.
the cup sensor in the chopper would be my favorite for this. I mean, the multi-cooker, obviously, because it cooks so fast. Like this thing is like over here bubbling like crazy. Like I turned it off because it's going crazy over here. I would say that the chopper that with that I did with the onion, I enjoy that. There's something about like pounding on things like that's just fun. So and it does such a good job keeping everything nice and even. And then I'm loving the cup zester. It zests so fast and it's kind of fun to play with. So, and then it's easy to throw in the refrigerator and use later if
Very
you get
cool.
that far.
Love that.
Yeah.
This question is, what is the blue scraper you were using to put onions in the
Mm,
pot?
That's the bowl and bench. So that's the bowl and bench scraper. So it comes as 2 parts. There's another part that goes along with this. And I use it for everything on my counter, especially if I'm doing anything with dough and it gets that like kind of sticky, sludgy stuff on your counter. It will
Mhm.
like zip right through that and get that out of there. So this is wonderful. It comes as a set of 2. There's one that sits in it. And it's usually for baking for like pie crusts and dough and things like that.
Love it. Have you used the cup zester on chocolate?
What? Seriously?
That's a question.
No, but yes, I will be doing that. I'm like,
I could definitely
"Okay,
see you doing some shredded chocolate.
chocolate
Yeah, great idea.
Yes,
Um,
great
let's
idea.
see. I'm just looking through a couple more questions here. We're gonna do 2 more and then we'll transition over to the consultant questions. So, can you hold the focaccia bread up close? People want to see the detail
This
on
like the cooked version.
Yeah.
This?
Let's see that finished bread.
Okay, like that?
Yeah. Or can you even hold just like a piece right up?
Yeah, here.
We just want to oogle at this bread right now.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty oogly. Here, I'll come in close.
Oh yeah.
Like all the little bubbles and like, yes. Yeah, I think Great British Baking Show would be happy with that.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's yummy.
Okay, very cool. And then let's see. I think last question is where did you find that tea that you mentioned? People seem pretty intrigued
Oh,
by that.
Amazon. Yeah, Amazon.
Cool. Just search.
The little canister.
Love it. Good stuff. All right, so thank you for all that, Laura. And a couple more questions. So I already asked you about your favorite tool, but you've been doing Pampered Chef for is it 4 years now?
Yep, 4 years.
Okay. So in your 4 years of doing Pampered Chef, you've earned some money, you've got some great products. What have been some of the additional perks or benefits you've found from doing this and, working this into your life when you are, a teacher and a parent as well?
Yeah, well, I mean, there a paycheck is the first thing, obviously. Like I joined to get a paycheck, but didn't actually think I'd get a paycheck. So, but we have paid off. I joined because our windows went bad and we had to make a quick change and have them all traded out. So, and we have 34 windows in our house and it was going to be a big one. So, my Pamper Chef checks have paid off all of that. I mean, over years, have taken care of that. But other things that we love, I get to take hubby on a trip. He loves being a pampered husband. And every year that I've been with Pampered Chef, I've earned a trip, which is amazing. So it gives us a little time away, a little time to be spoiled. Next year, we're taking the whole family to Disney for our incentive trip. But the things that I didn't expect were the friendships. And I know that like can sound really cheesy, but like it's hard to be friends with girls, and especially girls that can be competitive. And this community is different, and it's a really, really wonderful, welcoming place where people share and support. And that was something that I wasn't expecting. And I love all the new products. So I love being able to get my hands on new things, try new recipes. Their resources that we have available as a consultant are bonkers. Like I came into Pampered Chef with literally a pizza stone, and I had no idea how to use it. So I've learned so much just about cooking and how to make a quick meal and things that are fun to take places. So all kinds of things I wasn't expecting to.
Love that. And that is really amazing that the things that you have earned, the trips you've earned, the ability to, make some big payments. And I know that you worked really, really hard to do that. You put in a lot of time to do that. You've been doing this for years and saving up. So very cool to see the fruit of your labor come to that. And yeah, I know that it takes a lot of time to build up to that point. And so
Yeah,
appreciate that you put in that hard work, and that's really impressive. So and the friendships, I mean, what a gift.
yeah.
So cool. And last thing I want to just talk about is because of your very busy life, being a mom, being a full-time orchestra teacher, and cooking and doing all of this, talk to me about flexibility. How does this work schedule-wise, and how do you make this work into your schedule, and what does this flexibility kind of look like for you?
Sure. The flexibility is good, but you have to be scheduled. So I mean, I know what my work hours are for school, and I can't do my Pampered Chef while I'm at school. So I know that I need to get up before work and get certain things done, and then after work I need to get certain things done. But I also have a busy schedule with my events for concerts and things like that, plus my kids' events. So that being able to look ahead at a schedule and know, okay, this week I'm not going to be able to work. So I can double up before and after and take the week off and walk away. And I don't have to call into a boss to tell them I need the day off, which is really cool. So, but it all takes planning. So, flexibility is great, but if you don't set a schedule, you got to plan for everything. So I know what I've got coming up the next week, and I know what my work hours are going to be, and they're non-negotiable. So, and that's, flexibility is good, but flexibility can also be kind of tricky because the virtual world is going 24/7. So if I'm running virtual parties, I can party anytime I want, but I have to have a schedule. So to be successful. So
Yeah. Very wise, and I think that maybe that's probably what makes you a successful teacher as well, that you're a good planner. And yeah, I mean that's a great way to kind of take control of your schedule and make it your own by setting those designated hours and blocks of how you work on things. That speaks to me for sure. So Laura, thank you so much for answering these questions. Thank you for showing us your kitchen and for cooking with us. Really, really amazing. For any of you who are interested in learning even more about being a consultant, maybe something you've seen tonight has intrigued you. Maybe you've been thinking about it for a while. Maybe this is the first time you've thought about it. Whatever it is, I want to invite you to check with your local consultant if this is something you think you'd like to build into your life. And I also want to encourage you to visit the Be a Consultant page on our website. And there you can find a lookbook that talks a little bit more in detail about the income disclosure statement. If you want to get into more of the details of how the financials work, I encourage you to read that and kind of learn how you can start to earn some of these things yourself. So thank you again for joining us tonight. We hope to see you again next week. Yes, we are still having an event next week, the week of American Thanksgiving. And next week, we're going to have more food and fun with Andrea. She's going to be teaching us how to make an easy and festive baked dessert for holiday get-togethers. That's right, you can be a dessert hero at your gathering next week. So come join us. It's going to be a great night. Register, and we hope to see you same time and place next Tuesday. So that's all for us to now. Thanks again for joining us. We hope you have a great night. Bye-bye.